From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
I'm Casey Conlon. These trash cans are just fine for most of us, but in bear country, you need something a lot stronger. And the Gardner Market has it, after a giant grizzly gave them proof over the weekend. The video coming up.
I'm Joe St. George in Madison, Wisconsin. Coming up, we explain why you should be paying attention to Secretary of State races happening all around the country this year. Is democracy really at stake? We break down these little-known races next.
Well, good morning and happy Thursday, Southwest Montana. Oh, look at that. Just some thin clouds in the sky, some damp roads around Southwest Montana, some pretty good puddles in Belgrade this morning. We had a pretty good amount of rain.
You did. You picked up a little over a quarter inch since midnight. That's not even counting the stuff before that. I was laughing in my head. I was laughing about that bear story and trash cans. Right. The reason why they don't make them more complicated is because the humans can't operate them.
There's a gray area in there where the bear can't open it, neither can the people.
Yeah, that's
that's
right.
True.
That's it. Temperatures this morning into the bears in some cases might be a little more intelligent. Anyway, 40s for a few areas this morning. It does look like the showers have cleared for the time being, but we are seeing more rain trying to pile its way back through the afternoon and evening. Some of those downpours could be quite heavy before it's all said and done. Temperatures are going to be a little on the brisk side, especially when we're dealing with some wind. I do expect to see hit and miss rain showers. It does look beautiful out there to start the morning. The first day of fall is today, not now, but soon. We'll talk more about the fall and the rain showers and when it'll warm up. That's all coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Matt. 6:32, we're going to head back to the bears. It's more important than ever right now to be bear aware as the animals stock up with any food they can find ahead of hibernation. Grocery store seems like the perfect target, but one market thwarted a hungry grizzly by doing exactly what you're supposed to. Our Casey Conlon has that story.
These trash cans, just fine for Midtown Billings. But in bear country, you're gonna need something a lot stronger. The owners of the Gardner Market know it all too well, and they were validated over the weekend when they had a big visitor.
I mean, the claws were just massive.
Rebecca Demery couldn't quite believe what her security cameras caught this past weekend.
I was just shocked.
A giant grizzly bear sniffing around a trash can outside the Gardner Market. But this was no ordinary trash can. It's billed as bear-proof. And here's the evidence. The bear was able to pull it down with ease, but couldn't get anything out.
We were really excited. There have been a lot of reports of bears getting into trash in town, and then just to be able to see, hey, our can was knocked over, but it didn't get any rewards. It was pretty exciting to see.
It's definitely not the first time the bear has been spotted. These are videos from resident Brandy Nichols showing multiple grizzly sightings over the last 10 days. And we had this video sent to us from a field 2 miles north of Red Lodge.
There's more activity than normal years this fall.
FWP spokesman Greg Lemon says they've seen a smaller berry crop in a lot of areas this year, forcing bears down from the high country and into towns. That's not ideal, but he likes seeing incidents end in success.
Make no mistake, a bear's place is not on the sidewalk in front of the grocery store. But if a bear winds up there, the worst thing in the world would be to get a free meal out of it. So yeah, it was good to see the bear-proof container did its job.
He'll keep sending a message though, because it only takes one mistake.
If 3 of the 4 houses have their food secured, but the 4th house doesn't, and then it turns into everybody's problem.
You know, if you're on the fence about making this investment, you know, it's just really encouraging to see that it paid off.
After all, nobody wants to see their trash turn into bear treasure. Casey Conlon, MTN News.
All right, thank you very much, Casey. 6:34 now. As the nationwide debate over abortion continues, Montana voters will have their say this fall on a measure to require healthcare providers to perform life-saving care on infants born alive, including after an abortion. But MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Embering explains opponents are raising concerns about how it could affect families and doctors in other situations.
At the state capitol Wednesday, opponents of legislative referendum 131 said the ballot measure's impacts would go well beyond abortion and create an unnecessary intrusion into tragic and difficult moments for Montana families.
What this initiative will do, it's gonna prevent families from being able to hold a dying loved one in the fashion and being able to say goodbye in the way that they want to say goodbye.
In 2021, Republicans in the Montana legislature voted to put LR 131 on the ballot, calling it a needed step to protect newly born infants. If passed, it would declare infants born breathing or with a beating heart after an abortion or through any other method must be treated as a legal person and require healthcare providers to, quote, take all medically appropriate and reasonable actions to preserve the life and health of the infant. It would establish penalties for providers who failed to comply, up to $50,000 in fines and up to 20 years in prison. Opponents, like maternal fetal medicine specialist Tim Mitchell, said that could mean doctors would feel they had to attempt procedures like intubation, regardless of a family's wishes.
There's not situations where care is being withheld when the families desire care.
At Wednesday's event, opponents heard from parents like Jen Bana. She says while pregnant with her daughter Anna, doctors found the baby's brain hadn't fully developed and she wouldn't be able to survive for long. She described the value of being able to hold her daughter for a few minutes after her birth.
The opportunity to snuggle and sing to her would not have been possible if she had been taken away immediately. Anna Louise would have died in a different room without me, robbing me of the opportunity of comforting and holding her during her short life. It was my fondest memory and the only experience I had with her while she was alive.
LR 131 is one of 2 statewide ballot measures that will be in the November general election. Absentee ballots will begin going out to voters next month. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
6:37 now. For weeks, we've been telling you about what is at stake in the midterm elections and why your vote especially matters when it comes to Congress and governor's races around the country. But perhaps for the first time ever this year, in some states, the election of Secretary of State being looked at as an important one by voters. Our Joe St. George explains the significance of these races and why who gets elected this year may just play a important role in the next presidential election.
Oh, fall. Leaves, football, campaign signs. That's right. It's election season.
I know what you're thinking. Another political story about an important race for governor or senator. No, that's not what this story is about. Right now, we're talking about races across the country for Secretary of State.
Let's be honest, this is a job that usually doesn't get much attention. In Madison, Wisconsin, the Secretary of State has so few duties, the office is in the basement of the state capitol. But this year, this easily forgotten job in states across the country is attracting attention.
The office may not be exciting, but it's important.
Amy Laudenbeck is running for the office in Wisconsin as a Republican.
Now this year it's different.
Doug LaFollette is the Democrat running to keep the job that he's had for over 40 years. Why are these races attracting attention? Simple. 2024, whether President Biden runs or former President Trump or another politician becomes the face of their party, 2020 showed the Secretary of State can be an important job because of their role when it comes to election results. In Wisconsin, an independent body known as the Wisconsin Election Commission is in charge of the results. But Laudenbach and many Republicans want the Secretary of State to oversee it.
Give me the keys to that office in the basement so I can open the door and start serving the people.
LaFollette disagrees.
They're trying to install their Trump-type people.
Believing states should be trying to make the process as nonpartisan as possible.
That's still better than having a politician in charge.
Across the country this year, there's 27 Secretary of State races. In some cases, candidates have been outspoken. In Arizona, Republican Mark Fincham, a state legislator, sponsored legislation to decertify the 2020 results. In Michigan, the Republican nominee has previously alleged illegal vote counting in Detroit. Meanwhile, on the other side, many Democratic candidates for the job are promising to fight for things like more ballot drop boxes and mail-in ballots, something that has made Republicans pay attention.
Wisconsin's votes were cast to support Joe Biden.
In Wisconsin, Laudenbach isn't denying Biden's presidency during this fall campaign.
Voting is a right. Absentee voting is a privilege.
But she does believe in reform. As for LaFollette, he's just grateful voters are starting to pay attention.
Get a check from Michigan for $100.
He's getting donations from outside his state, a sign of how this unusually obscure race has been thrust into the spotlight. In Madison, Wisconsin, I'm Joe St. George.
All right, 6:40 now. A local nonprofit preparing to ship a lot of wheelchairs for children in the Ukraine. And one mayor from the country could not be more thankful. TN's Kristen Merkel tells us the difference this gift will make.
I'm here at Rock Wheels, where this nonprofit is not only making a difference by providing wheelchairs in Gallatin County, but also around the world.
We're always looking for good, strong partners that we can work with. We have a lot of internally displaced people, a lot of injured people in Ukraine that really needs this kind of equipment.
Executive Director of Rock Wheels, Dean Hampton, is hopeful that a shipment of more than 100 wheelchairs for children will make it to the Ukraine.
It was an idea that came up with just the war happening. We thought, we'd want to get over there and get some wheelchairs out because we know that that's a huge need.
So these are designed to help people that don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, internally displaced people.
Yeah.
Mayor of a small Ukrainian town, Bogdan Kelichave, came to Rock Wheels to share his appreciation for what the nonprofit is doing for his country.
It's a great thing that you're doing. A lot of people I meet in the United States, they're just like supporting Ukraine, like they're expressing the words of support. And here I also see not only words, but actions.
Rock Wheels has been working closely with their partners in San Francisco to prepare the shipment, and Hampton is hopeful it will be ready to go sooner rather than later.
It'll be in the fall. We don't know the exact date yet. There's a lot of variables over there.
And the nonprofit is more than ready to help the war-stricken country.
Rock Wheels is very happy to help out the people of Ukraine. I mean, that was a passion that all of us had when the war started. We thought, hey, how can we help? We have a great product, and it's just a matter of getting it out there.
In Bozeman, Kristen Merkel, MTN News.
All right, very cool. 6:41, we're going to take a break here.